reflections in the rain. The noise becomes a distant hum instead of steady strain. And I can walk these crowded streets without absorbing speed, because I know the difference between a want and need. The city moves, I don't. Not unless I choose. I don't have to chase the shine or fear what I might lose. There's freedom in the knowing that I can simply be a steady pulse of purpose in the heart of urgent sin.
You always sit across from me like nothing ever shifts, laughing at the smallest things, pretending we're just this. But something in the way your fingers trace the rim of your glass feels different than the years that have already passed. We said we'd never complicate the comfort that we built, kept every moment balanced without a hint of guilt. Yet every time your shoulder brushes close to mine, there's a quiet spark running under the line. I know your story's like the back of my hand, every reckless plan you never quite planned. You know the way my voice will fall when I'm unsure of it all. But lately there's a softness in your steady gaze, a lingering pause that gently stays, like we're standing on a fragile edge, just stepping back and making a plunge. I don't want fireworks tearing to prove we care, just the warmth of your knee against mine, and that slow, unspoken sign. Maybe love doesn't arrive with a shout. Maybe it grows while we're figuring out how to hold the silence without fear, how to let someone truly near. Your laughter runs deeper than before, echoing somewhere at my core. It's not the same familiar sound, there's a tenderness newly found. I catch myself watching the curve of your smile, holding my breath just a little while, wondering when exactly we touch, certain to gently lost. If I reach for your hand tonight, will it feel natural? Will it feel, or will the world tilt softly around, changing the shape of every sound? I don't need promises carved in stone, or perfect words carefully shown. Just meet me here in this in-between, where something honest can be seen. Let's not rush what's blooming slow, let it unfold the way we know. Let's let rhythm calm and true, like every quiet talk we grew through. And if tomorrow carries a different name for what we are and what we came, remember this delicate phase where friendship softened into praise. So stay a moment longer than planned, let your fingers rest near my hand, right here where nothing seems to move, is exactly where our hearts improve. No sudden change, no dramatic sign, just your breath falling close to mine, and in that space so clear and strong, strange is the place where we quietly change. You looked up only for a second. Something shifted in the air. Not loud enough for anyone. Yes, suddenly you were there. The cafe noise kept moving on. Spoons against porcelain tone. But in that small suspended beat, I didn't feel alone. It wasn't lightning, wasn't flame, no cinematic sign, just a subtle rearranging of your rhythm close to mine. You asked if this seat was taken, your voice low, steady, kind. I nodded with a careful smile, unsure what I might find. We spoke of ordinary things, work and weather, passing days, yet underneath the simple words, the softer current sways. I noticed how you listened fully, not waiting just to speak. Your focus felt intentional, unrushed, sincere, unique. There was a warmth in how you laughed, not sharp, not seeking praise. It settled gently in my chest and lingered in quiet ways. I've known attraction quick and bright, the kind that burns too fast, but this was different, grounded, slow, like something built to last. You didn't try to impress the room or turn the light your way. You stayed within your natural frame and let the moment stay. When silence came, it wasn't strained, it rested soft and wide, like we were testing if this space was safe enough inside. I found myself revealing truths I rarely let unfold, not secrets heavy with regret, but stories rarely told. You didn't interrupt the thread or rush to make it light. You let my words exist as they were, unedited, upright. The piano somewhere near the bar played chords in melody. Each note seemed to underline the ease I felt with you. We didn't speak of future plans or label what we felt. Yes, something honest had begun before our coffee melt. A brush of fingers passing change, a glance held half a beat. The world continued as before, but softer at my feet. I walked outside beside you, the afternoon still young, not holding hands, just side by side with sentences unsung. There's courage in the early stage before declarations rise, when hope is quiet, steady, toned and lives between the eyes. You said you'd like to see me soon, no pressure in the phrase, just open air around the words, no hidden maze. I've learned not every spark must race toward promise or design. Sometimes the lives within the patience. So I let the feeling be, didn't grip or guard, allowed it room to form itself without pushing too hard. As we parted at the corner, your smile stayed with me, not as a fantasy to chase, but simply possibility. There's something rare in being met without a need to prove, where presence is enough to hold the smallest shift and move. Maybe this will grow with time or gently fade away, but what began between our words already changed my day. Not with fireworks overhead or dramatic display, but with a steady open warmth that
laundry basket by the door, sunlight on the tiles, loose change in the pocket from a week of scattered miles. I separate the colors like I've done 100 times. Cotton denim, ordinary fragments of small climbs. The washer starts its turning, low mechanical refrain. Water filling up the drum, soft and unrestrained. There's comfort in the pattern, and cycles set and sure, in knowing that the process will quietly endure. Spin cycles Saturday, nothing grand at stake, just fabric, soap, and gravity, and gentle give and take. No speeches to deliver, no deadlines in my head, just rhythm and repetition, and in bed. The piano keeps it simple, with open, easy chords. Brushes mark a lazy beat like footsteps on the boards. The bass line hums beneath, warm and steady tone, a grounded reassurance that I'm not alone. I used to call this boring, the slow domestic kind, dreaming of some louder scene to occupy my mind. But now I feel the value in folding what I wear and smoothing out the creases with patient, quiet care. There's something almost meditative in watching it spin, seeing stains release their hold from where they once had been. Proof that even stubborn marks can loosen if you wait. Not everything requires a drastic shift. Spin cycle Saturday keeps the week at bay, washing off the rush of it in a steady sway. There's dignity in tending to details small and plain, in building peace from habits that quietly remain. Oh, slow down, it's alright to live like this. The buzzer sounds its ending, a soft mechanical cue. I lift the lid and feel the warmth of something made anew. Steam rising lightly upward into open air, the scent of simple cleanliness settling everywhere. I hang the shirts by the window light, let them breathe, watch the breeze move gently under open sky. There's no dramatic milestone, no applause to earn, just shirts aligned on hangers waiting for their turn. Spin cycle Saturday teaches me to see the worth inside the ordinary that steadies me. Not every satisfaction needs a spotlight's ray. Sometimes it's in the turning of a quiet Saturday. You're doing fine right here. By evening they are folded, stacked in tidy rows, ready for another week of errands, work and roads. And I feel strangely centered in this modest ritual, because peace can start so simply, in something habitual.
the same one I bought at the corner of the shop. Your fingers brushed against mine, then paused without a thought. Dust hung softly in the sunlight, cutting through the air. The quiet of the little shop wrapped around us there. You smiled like it was nothing, just a single overlap. But something in the stillness shifted in the gap. The wooden floor beneath our steps carried gentle sound. Every whisper of a page felt steady and profound. I've always loved these hidden rooms where time is stretched and thin, where stories rest in careful stacks and softer thoughts begin. You asked if I had read this one, your voice low, calm and clear, not loud enough to draw a glance, yet somehow drawing near. We spoke of lines that stayed with us, of endings bittersweet, of characters who felt like friends we'd one day hope to meet. There was no rush to impress, no clever words on key, just honest curiosity moving between me and you. The scent of paper aged and warm felt grounding at my side, like memory without the weight or anything to hide. I noticed how you listened without planning what to say. Your focus wasn't wandering or drifting far away. I've known conversations quick, bright sparks that fade too fast, but this unfolded gradually like something built to last. You held the book a little closer, tracing lines in thought, not performing knowledge or claiming what you'd caught. Outside the world kept moving, cars and hurried feet, but here between the shelves the rhythm felt complete. I didn't feel the need to shine or shape a perfect tone. I spoke the way I truly think, unfiltered, fully known. You laughed at something small I said, not exaggerated or loud, just warm enough to settle in without a need for crowd. We drifted toward the narrow desk where purchases are made. Neither of us seemed to want the moment to fade. You asked if I came here often, I shrugged and said sometimes. The truth was I had searched for spaces where silence gently chimes, not empty, not alone, but spacious in design, where minds can meet in quiet ways without a flashing sign. You wrote your number on the receipt, not bold, not disguised, just steady handwriting, unhurried and precise. No promise wrapped in urgency, no script about what's next, just possibility untangled and unfixed. When I stepped back into the street with paper bag in hand, the afternoon felt altered in ways I hadn't planned, not by spectacle or flame, not by dramatic cue, but by a moment softly held between the shelves with you. And as I walked beneath the trees with sunlight in my view, I realized some stories start without announcing they
Fluorescent lights too bright for night, buzzing over tile, plastic chairs and faded blue lined in single file. Machines spin in steady rows, glass doors catching foam. Coins clink down metallic slots, a rhythm of their own. Detergent in the heavy air, warm and slightly sweet. Drying with patience, no mechanical beat. Television mounted high without a single sound. Subtitles for a drama, no one gathers round. Quarter turns at 2 a.m. Clothes tumbling slow. Watching fabric twist and fall in steady undertow. No one asks for conversation, no one needs a name. Just strangers in rotation in this late night frame. The piano rests in mellow chords, soft and evenly spaced. Brushes mark a subtle pulse, unhurried, unchased. The bass line hums beneath it, deep inside the floor, like grounding through vibration behind the dryer's roar. A woman folds in practice lines, precise and square and neat. A man in work boots checks his phone, then rubs his tired feet. Someone studies quietly on a plastic chair, highlighter moving slowly through textbook air. Quarter turns at 2 a.m. Keep the thoughts aligned. Watching cycles rinse and spin clears a restless mind. There's something in the waiting, in the low machine refrain that smooths out sharper worries without calling them by name. Let it turn, let it spin. You don't have to. I lean against the counter, sip from paper cup. Let the hum surround me till the day loosens up. Not glamorous, not cinematic, just ordinary light. But ordinary feels different in the middle of the night. The dryers slow their rotation, heat fading into warm. A gentle kind of decrescendo after steady storm. I pull the clothes out carefully, steam against my face. There's comfort in the warmth of it, in freshly folded space. Quarter turns at 2 a.m., not wasting time at all. Sometimes the smallest pauses are the steadiest of calls. No deadlines in this moment, no spotlight overhead, just tumbling through the noise inside my head. Almost done, take it home. I stack the folded cotton, balanced on my arm, push the door into the night, cool air replacing warm. Machines keep spinning softly behind the closing frame. Quarter turns at 2 a.m., still humming just the same.
Saw you first through the window glass, reflected in a moving train. For a second I forgot to breathe, like time had circled back again. You stood there with your hands, looking smaller than I knew. And maybe I just saw you clearer without the weight of what we grew. My heart didn't race like lightning, it didn't crash against my ribs. It moved like something careful, like it remembered how you live. There was no storm inside me, no trembling at the knees, just a warmth that felt familiar like a long lost melody. We almost said hello again, almost let the silence bend, almost stepped across the years that we folded into ends. You turned slightly toward me, I felt the air begin to spin. We almost said hello again, we almost let it in. I wondered if you felt it too, that gentle pull of venom. Not a hunger, not a heartbreak, just a quiet wondering how two people once so certain could drift without a fight and still stand here unbroken in the soft electric light. I thought about the little things, the way you held your spoon, how you'd read the final pages first and hum an off-key tune. Those details didn't wound me, they didn't make me fall. They simply felt like chapters from a book I once called. Oh, we almost said hello again, almost let our fingers move, almost asked about the years and what they helped improve. I saw your eyes grow warmer, like you felt it settle in you. We almost said hello again, we almost let it begin. And maybe that was perfect, not nearly crossing line, because life doesn't always need to rewrite every time. Sometimes it's just a mirror held steady in the day, showing who we used to be and how we found our way. You look stronger in your stillness, more grounded than before. I saw the quiet in your shoulders, like you'd settled every war. And I stood there with my heartbeat steady as a drum, grateful for the story and who we've both become. We almost said hello again, but something felt complete, not broken, not unfinished, just balanced on our feet. We gave each other softness, a half smile, small and thin. We almost said hello again, and that was everything. The train arrived between us, doors sliding open wide. A brief and simple moment with nothing left to hide. You nodded like a promise that needed no defense, and I nodded back in kindness without regret or pretense. As you disappeared inside it, I didn't chase the sound, because loving you once deeply was enough to hold my ground. Some stories don't need sequels, some feelings don't demand a second chance at fire when peace is close at hand. I almost said hello again, and that was more than fine. A quiet kind of closure that felt like gentle time. No ache inside my breathing, no wish to start anew, just gratitude for who I was the day I loved you.
bought a fern on impulse on a Tuesday after work. Didn't know the Latin name, slept its quiet dark. Set it by the window, watered it too much. Googled why are leaves turning brown. Panicked at the touch. Now there's basil in the kitchen, succulents on the shelf. A cactus with an attitude that mirrors me myself. Check the soil each morning like it's breaking news. Celebrate a tiny sprout like headline-worthy views. I talk to my plants now like they understand. Hey there, you're doing fine. It's something I've planned. I rotate them for sunlight. Apologize for dust. It's cheaper than a therapist and twice as good for laughs. The piano's got a playful swing, a little bouncing ring. Brushes tapping lightly like mischief settling in. The bass line walks in circles, confident and round, like it knows I found my common chlorophyll and ground. I used to chase productivity, optimize my day, track my habits, count my steps, measure every way. But nothing humbles ego like a drooping little leaf. You cannot out-hustle nature or negotiate with grief. My neighbor thinks I'm strange now, catching me mid-speech. Don't worry, little rosemary, you're finally in reach. He waters his tomatoes, pretends he doesn't care. But I've seen him whisper when he thinks nobody's there. I talk to my plants now about my week and such. They never interrupt me or advise too much. They just stand there photosynthesizing, patient, green and still, teaching me consistency without a single drill. Grow slow, that's fine. So do I. The fern survived the winter, the cactus bloomed once, the basil bolted awkwardly. But that's like front to front. Some things thrive in sunlight, some need partial shade. Some days I overwater, some days I underplay. There's wisdom in the watering and tending what you keep. And understanding progress doesn't always leap. It sometimes looks like showing up with picture in your hand, trusting small routines to slowly shape the land. I talk to my plants now, and honestly it's true. The things I say to them are things I need to hear too. Be patient with your growing, don't compare your leaves. You're allowed a season to shed what no one sees. You're doing fine. Keep reaching. They don't applaud my efforts, they don't demand a plan, but every new unfurling feels quietly grand. Turns out I didn't need another grand raise, just dirt beneath my fingernails and a second chance.
You always sit across from me like nothing ever shifts, laughing at the smallest things, pretending we're just friends. But something in the way your fingers trace the rim of your glass feels different than the years that have already passed. We said we never complicate the comfort that we had. Kept every moment balanced without joking. Yet every time your shoulder brushes close to mine, there's a quiet spark on an underline. I know your story's like the back of my hand. Every reckless plan you never quite planned. You know the way my voice will fall when I'm unsure of it all. But lately there's a softness in your steady gaze, a lingering pause that gently stays, like we're standing on a fragile edge, neither stepping back nor making a pledge. I don't want fireworks tearing the air, no grand display to prove we care, just the warmth of your need against mine, and that slow unspoken sign. Maybe love doesn't arrive with a shout, maybe it grows while we're figuring out how to hold the silence without fear, how to let someone truly hear. Laughter lands deeper than before, echoing somewhere at my core. It's not the same familiar sound, there's a tenderness newly found. I catch myself watching the curve of your smile, holding my breath just a little while, wondering when exactly we cross from safe and certain to gently lost. If I reach for your hand tonight, will it feel natural, will it feel right, or will the world tilt softly around, changing the shape of every sound? I don't need promises carved in stone, or perfect words carefully shown. Just meet me here in the in-between, with something honest can be seen. Let's not rush what's blooming slow, let it unfold the way we know. Steady rhythm, calm and true, like every quiet talk we go through. And if tomorrow carries a different name, for what we are and became, I'll remember this delicate phase where friendship softened into praise. So stay a moment longer than planned, let your fingers rest near my hand right here. Nothing seems to move, it's exactly where our hearts improve. No sudden change, no dramatic sign, just your breath falling close to mine. And in that space so clear and strange is the place where we quietly
Everybody's walking fast, like the pavements on a clock. Shoes talking about ambition, every single block. Screens glow with moving faces, deadlines in their eyes. The air is thick with hurry, under steel and glass and skies. I used to match the tempo, let it pull me by the sleeve. Every ringing notification felt too loud to leave. Breathing like a contest, running without pause, measuring my value by invisible applause. But the city keeps on turning, whether I run or stand. So I loosen up my shoulders and unclench my hands. There's a rhythm underneath it, quieter than the sound, a steadier vibration if you're willing to be found. The city moves out, not the way it used to make me. I let the trains rush past without letting them shake me. There's power in the choosing not to join the race. Strength inside the stillness in holding my own pace. The piano drops a low chord, soft against the noise. Brushes on the snare like a whisper in the void. The bass line hums assurance, deep and unafraid, like something rooted firmly, even when it sways. Billboards flash their promises of faster, bigger, more. Elevators climb ambition through every mirrored floor, but none of it can tell me who I need to be if I forget the person walking quietly in. The city moves, I don't, at least not in that way. I won't trade my breathing for a brighter display. There's room inside my foot for something real and slow, a confidence that doesn't need a spotlight's glow. Let them hurt, let them prove. Don't have to. And watch the colors change, red to green to yellow, in predictable exchange. Everyone surges forward like there's something to defend, but I've learned the art of waiting without fearing what might end. There's bravery in choosing not to answer every call, not to fill each silence or scale a shining wall. I'm building something quieter, layer by steady layer, a foundation made of patience and honest self-aware. The city moves, I bend but never break. I move when it feels right, not for a bigger sake. There's calm inside my center that no rush can displace, a grounded kind of certainty the skyline can erase. So you're not behind, you're just aligned with your own design. Night settles over windows, reflections in the rain. The noise becomes a distant hum instead of steady strain. And I can't walk these crowded streets without absorbing speed, because I know the difference between a one and a the city moves, I don't, not unless I choose. I don't have to chase the shine or fear what I might lose. There's freedom in the knowing that I can simply be a steady pulse of purpose in the heart of urgency.
You looked up only for a second, but something shifted in the air. Not loud enough for anyone yet. Suddenly you were there. The cafe noise kept moving, spoons against porcelain tone. But in that small suspended beat, I didn't feel alone. It wasn't lightning, it wasn't flame, no cinematic sign, just a subtle rearranging of your rhythm close to mine. You asked if this seat was taken, your voice low, steady. I nodded with a careful smile, sure what I might find. We spoke of ordinary things, work and weather, passing days. Yet underneath the simple words, a softer current sways. I know it's how you listen for me, waiting just built to last. You didn't try to impress the room. Turn the light your way. You stayed within your natural frame and let the moment stay. When silence came, it wasn't strained. It rested soft and wide, like we were testing if this space was safe enough inside. I found myself revealing truths I rarely let unfold. Not secrets heavy with regret, but stories rarely told. You didn't interrupt the thread, rush to make it light. You let my words exist as they were, unknitted upright. The piano somewhere near the bar played chords in mellow hue. Each note seemed to underline the ease I felt with you. We didn't speak of future plans or label what we felt. Yet something honest had to be before our coffee melt. A brush of fingers passing change, a glance held half a beat. The world continued as before, but softer at my feet. I walked outside beside you, the afternoon still young, not holding hands, just side by side with sentences unsung. There's courage in the early stage before declarations rise. When hope is quiet, steady toned, and lives between the eyes. You said you'd like to see me soon. Pressure in the phrase, just open air around the words, no hidden maze. I've learned not every spark must race toward promise or design. Sometimes the beauty lives within the patient, fragile line. So I let the feeling breathe, didn't grip or guard, allowed it room to form itself without pushing too hard. As we parted at the corner, your smile stayed with me, not as a fantasy to chase, but simple possibility. There's something rare in being met without a need to prove, where presence is enough to hold the smallest shift and move. Maybe this will grow with time or gently fade away, but what began between our words already changed my day. Not with fireworks overhead or dramatic display, but with a steady open warmth that chose to stay.
Laundry basket by the door, sunlight on the tiles, loose change in the pocket from a week of scattered miles. I separate the colors like I've done 100 times. Cotton denim, ordinary fragments of small clouds. Washer starts its turn, low mechanical refrain, water filling up the drum, soft and unrestrained. There's comfort in the pattern, in cycles set and true, in knowing that the process will quietly endure. Spin cycles Saturday, nothing grand at stake, just fabric, soap and gravity, gentle give and take. No speeches to deliver, no deadlines in my head, just rhythm in repetition and unmade weekend bed. The piano keeps it simple with open easy chords. Brushes mark a lazy beat like footsteps on the boards. The bass line hums beneath it, warm and steady tone, a grounded reassurance that I'm not alone. I used to call this boring, the slow domestic kind, some louder scene to occupy my mind. But now I feel the value in folding what I wear, in smoothing out the creases with patient, quiet care. There's something almost meditative in watching water spill, seeing stains release their hold from where they once had been. Proof that even stubborn bones can loosen if you wait. Not everything requires a drastic shift instead. Spin cycle Saturday keeps the week at bay, washing off the rush of you in a steady sway. There's dignity in tending to detail small and plain, in building peace from habits that quietly remain. Slow down, it's alright. The buzzer sounds, it's ending a soft mechanical cue. I lift the lid and feel the warmth of something made anew. Steam rising lightly upward into open air. The scent of simple cleanliness settling everywhere. I hang the shirts by window light, let them breathe and dry, watching breeze move gently under open sky. There's no dramatic milestone, no applause to earn, just shirts aligned on hangers, waiting for their turn. Spin cycle Saturday teaches me to see the worth inside the ordinary that steadies me. Not every satisfaction needs a spotlight's ray. Sometimes it's in the turning of a quiet Saturday. You're doing fine right here. By evening they are folded, stacked in tidy rows, ready for another week of errands, work and roads. And I feel strangely centered in this modest ritual, because peace can start so simply, in something habitual.
I reached for the same worn novel at the corner of the shelf. Your fingers brushed against mine and paused without a help. Dust hung softly in the sunlight, cutting through the air. The quiet of the little shop wrapped around us there. You smiled like it was nothing, just a simple overlap. But something in the stillness shifted in the gap. The wooden floor beneath our steps carried gentle sound. Every whisper of a page felt steady and profound. I've always loved these hidden rooms where time is stretched and thin, where stories rest in careful stacks and softer thoughts begin. You asked if I had read this one, your voice low, calm and clear, not loud enough to draw a glance, yet somehow drawing near. We spoke of lines that stayed with us, of endings bittersweet, of characters who felt like friends we'd one day hope to meet. There was no rush to impress, no clever words on cue, just honest curiosity moving between me and you. The sense of paperation warm felt grounding at my side, like memory without the weight or anything to hide. I noticed how you listened without planning what to say. Your focus wasn't wandering or drifting far away. I've known conversations quick, bright sparks that fade too fast, but this unfolded gradually like something built to last. You held the book a little closer, tracing lines in thought, not performing knowledge or claiming what you'd caught. Outside the world kept moving, cars and hurried feet, but here between the shelves the rhythm felt complete. I didn't feel the need to shine or shape a perfect tone. I spoke the way I truly think, unfiltered, fully known. You laughed at something small I said, not exaggerated or loud, just warm enough to settle in without a need for a crowd. We drifted toward the narrow desk where purchases are made, but neither of us seemed to want the moment to fade. You asked if I came here often. I shrugged and said sometimes. The truth was I had searched for spaces where silence gently chimes, not empty, not alone, but spacious in design, where minds can meet in quiet ways without a flashing sign. You wrote your number on the receipt, not bold, not disguised, just steady handwriting, unhurried and precise. No promise wrapped in urgency, no script about what's next, just possibility untangled and unflexed. When I stepped back into the street with paper bag in hand, the afternoon felt altered in ways I hadn't planned, not by spectacle or flame, not by dramatic cue, but by a moment softly held between the shelves with you. And as I walked beneath the trees with sunlight in my view, I realized some stories start without announcing. They do.
Fluorescent lights too bright for night, buzzing time. Plastic chairs and faded blue light, single file. Machine spinning steady roll, glass doors catching foam. Chords clear down metallic slats, a rhythm of rain. Turning in a heavy air, warm and slightly sweet. Dry and humble, patient circles, low mechanical beat. A television mounted high without a single sound. Subtitles for the drama gathered round. Quarter turns at 2 a.m. Clothes tumbling slow. Watching fabric twist and fall instead of your toe. No one asks for conversation, no one needs a name. Just strangers in rotation in this late night frame. The piano rests in mellow chords, soft and evenly spaced. Brushes mark a subtle pulse, unhurried, unchased. The bass line hums beneath it, deep inside the floor, like grounding through vibration behind the dryer's roar. A woman folds in practice lines, precise and square and neat. A man in work boots checks his phone and rubs his tired feet. Someone studies quietly on a plastic chair. Highlighter moving slowly through textbook air. Quarter turns thoughts align. Watching cycles rinse and spin clears a restless mind. There's something in the waiting, in the low machine refrain that smooths out sharper worries without calling them by name. Let it turn, let it spin. You don't have to rush. I lean against the counter, sip from paper cup. Let the hum surround me till the day loosens up. Not glamorous, not cinematic, just ordinary light. But ordinary feels different in the middle of the night. The dryers slow their rotation, heat fading into warm, a gentle kind of decrescendo after steady storm. I pull the clothes out carefully, steam against my face. There's comfort in the warmth of it in freshly folded space. Quarter turns at 2 a.m., not wasting time at all. Sometimes the smallest pauses are the steadiest of calls. No deadlines in this moment, no spotlight overhead, just tumbling through the noise inside my head. Almost done. Take it. I stack the folded cotton balanced on my arm. Push the door into the night, cool air replacing warm. Machines keep spinning softly behind the closing frame. Quarter turns at 2 a.m. Still humming just the same.
I saw you first through the window glass, reflected in a moving train. For a second I forgot to breathe, like time had circled back again. You stood there with your hands in pockets, looking smaller than I knew. Maybe I just saw you clearly, without the weight of what we grew. My heart didn't race like lightning, it didn't crash against my ribs. It moved like something careful, like it remembered how you lived. There was no storm inside me, no trembling at the knees, just a warmth that felt familiar, like a long lost melody. We almost said hello again, almost let the silence bend, almost at the crossing we folded into ends. You turned slightly toward me, I felt the air begin to spin. We almost said hello again, we almost let it in. I wondered if you felt it too, that gentle pull of the numb. Not a hunger, not a heartbreak, just a quiet wondering how two people once so certain could drift without a fight and still stand here unbroken. hello again. Almost let our fingers move. Almost asked about the years and what they helped improve. I saw your eyes grow warmer, like you felt it settling in. We almost said hello again. We almost let it begin. And maybe that was perfect, but nearly crossing line, because love doesn't always need to rewrite every time. Sometimes it's just a mirror held steady in the day, showing who we used to be and how we found our way. You look stronger in your stillness, more grounded than before. I saw the quiet in your shoulders, like you'd settled every war. And I stood there with my heart steady as a drum, grateful for the story and who we've both become. We almost said hello again, but something felt complete, not broken, not unfinished, just balanced on our feet. We gave each other softness, a half smile, small and thin. We almost said hello again, and that was everything. The train arrived between us, doors sliding open wide, a brief and simple moment with nothing left to hide. You nodded like a promise that needed no defense, and I nodded back in kindness without regret or pretense. As you disappeared inside it, I didn't chase the sound, because loving you once deeply was enough to hold my ground. Some stories don't need sequels, some feelings don't demand a second chance at fire when peace is close at hand. We almost said hello again, and that was more than fine. A quiet kind of closure that felt like gentle time. No ache inside my breathing, no wish to start anew, just gratitude for who I was the day I loved you.
I bought a fern on impulse on a Tuesday after work. Didn't know the Latin name, just like this quiet perk. Set it by the window, watered it too. Googled why are leaves turning brown, panicked at the touch. Now there's basil in the kitchen, succulents on the shelf, a cactus with an attitude that mirrors me myself. I check the soil each morning like it's breaking news, celebrate a tiny sprout like headline-worthy view. I talk to my plants now like they understand. Hanging there, you're doing fine, is something I've planned. I rotate them for sunlight, apologize for drops. It's cheaper than a therapist and twice as good for laughs. The piano's got a playful swing, a little bounce and grin, brushes tapping lightly like mischief setting in. The bass line walks in circles, confident and round like like it knows I found my calm in chlorophyll and ground. I used to chase productivity, optimize my day, track my habits, count my steps, measure every way. But nothing humbles ego like a drooping little leaf. You cannot out-hustle nature or negotiate with grief. My neighbor thinks I'm strange now, catching me mid-speech. Don't worry, little Rosemary, you're finally in reach. He waters his tomatoes, pretends he doesn't care, but I've seen him whisper when he thinks nobody's there. I talk to my plants now about my weekend search. They never interrupt me or advise too much. They just stand there photosynthesizing, patient, green and still, teaching me consistency without a single drill. Grow slow, that's fine, so do I. The fern survived the winter, the cactus bloomed once, the basil bolted awkwardly, but that's life front to front. Some things thrive in sunlight, some need partial shade. Some days I overwater, some days I underplay. There's wisdom in the watering, tending what you keep, and understanding progress doesn't always leap. It sometimes looks like showing up with picture in your hand, trusting small routines to slowly shape the land. I talk to my parents now, and honestly it's true. The things I say are things I need to hear too. Be patient with your growing, don't compare your leaves. You're allowed a season to shed what no one sees. You're doing fine. They don't applaud my efforts, they don't demand a plan, but every new unfurling feels quietly grand. Turns out I didn't need another grand romance, just dirt beneath my fingernails and a second chance.
Watch you tying your hair this morning, same small habit from years ago. Your hands move quicker now than mine, but I still see the child I know. You don't need me to pack your days or smooth the corners of your plans. You've grown into your careful grace with steady heart and capable hands. There were nights I lay awake, wondering how much I should say, how to guide without control, how to let you find your way. I try to give you room to fall without letting you break it all. Try to hold the door halfway so courage could stand at your side. You carry questions in your eyes bigger than the ones I knew, chasing roads I've never walked, dreaming dreams and time. And though I cannot map them out or clear each doubt that comes along, I trust the rhythm in your chest. It's been resilient all along. You don't have to win the race or prove the strength you already own. The quiet way you face the world has always brightly shone. Every day's a test your will, moments sharp and unforeseen. But you were built with patient fire and something beautifully keen. I see it when you speak your mind, not loud but firm and kind. I hear it when you choose your ground, balanced off the sound. If you forget your worth, you feel too small to stand. Remember how you learned to walk by letting go of my hand. Not because I stepped away, because you chose to try. Each wobble shaped your steady step, each tear taught you to rise. You are not the sum of praise, nor the weight of passing blame. You are the pulse of your own days, with no one else to claim. When you walk into unknown rooms, hold your shoulders free. There's history in the way you move, a quiet legacy. Not perfection, not design, just love refined by time. Carrying the tone you speak in every hill you climb. And if the path feels steep at times, or lonely in the crowd, know that strength can whisper low. It doesn't need to be loud. I won't chase your changing sky or anchor you to mine. I'll stand here steady, proud and still, while you redraw your lines. So go and ride and fearless, sink across the years you claim. I'll be the voice that softly says you've always been enough the same. And when you walk your chosen way, through joy, through doubt, through change, remember home is not a place, it's the courage in your name.
Boxes stacked against the names written in black ink. Echo in an empty room gives me space to think. Key still cold inside my hand, the door not fully known. Every sound unfamiliar, but somehow it smells like fresh paint. Footsteps softly fade. Someone laughing 2 floors down in a language slightly strange. Streetlights flicker patiently outside the narrow pane. A city I have never walked, whispering my name. First night on a new street, nothing set in stone. Every shadow holds a story I have yet to own. Not afraid of being rude or not knowing the way. There's freedom in the blankness of an unarranged day. The piano moves in gentle chords, careful and aware. Brushes sleep in quiet arcs like dust in the evening air. The bassline hums beneath it, low and unconfined. A steady pulse reminding me I'm not leaving me behind. I place it up on cardboard, sit cross-legged on the floor. No curtains on the windows, yet no pictures by the door. The silence isn't empty, it feels wide and awake, like something waiting patiently for the first small step I'll take. First night on a new street, no history to defend, no past mistakes replaying around another bend. Just breathing in the present, letting nerves unwind. There's courage in beginning without a fixed design. It's alright, sunrise I haven't met. Neighbors I will recognize by rhythm of their door. Conversations in the stairwell I've never heard before. There's beauty without a mark. Turning on a single lamp inside a quiet dark. Not everything familiar has to follow through. Sometimes growth is choosing a place that challenges you. First night on a new street, I listened to the rain, soft against the rooftop like it's calling my name. Not wanting, not demanding, just steady as it falls. A gentle introduction to these brand new walls. You made it here, that's enough for now. I stretch out on the hardwood with boxes as a frame. The ceiling feels much higher without a past to claim. There's space for different versions of who I might become. Room for quiet confidence in what is yet to come. First night on a new street feels open and alive. Not certain, not completed, but willing to arrive. If tomorrow brings confusion or streets I can't yet read, I'll walk them slowly, learning at exactly the right speed.
I found it tucked between old pages, a sketch of something I once knew. Lines drawn with impatient hope in shades of fearless blue. I almost didn't recognize the handwriting as mine. So certain it would reach, so confident in line. Back then the future felt so wide, like doors without a key. I thought desire alone would build a bridge in front of me. But life arrived with gentle weight. Responsibilities grew, not crushing, just demanding space and asking something new. So I folded up that fragile knot and placed it out of sight. Not as surrender, not as loss. Years moved on in steady turns. I learned a deeper art, how to sustain, how to endure, how to protect my heart. Yet standing here with paper thin between my past and now, I feel that early pulse again, returning somehow. It doesn't rush or shout my name, it doesn't plead or cry. It simply rests beneath my ribs and asks me not to deny. The dream is different than before, less polished, less extreme. It doesn't need a crowded stage or glittering regime. It asks for time carved out each day, for practice without praise, for quiet rooms and honest work in measured faithful ways. I used to crave the outer proof that I was moving fast, but meaning isn't built on speed or shadows that are cast. There's wisdom in a slower climbing, building stone by stone, in choosing growth that roots itself instead of being shown. I trace the outline once again of what I hope to be, and notice how it still aligns with who I've grown to see. The world has changed and so have I, my voice more warm and sure. I no longer chase applause to feel that I endure. Now I create because it's true, because because it shapes my air. Because there's something in the act that feels like living in prayer. The folded paper in my hand is softer at the seam. Not one from failure or regret, but patient with the dream. I smooth it out across the desk, let daylight find its place, and see the line still breathing there with quiet, steady grace. This time I will not hurry it or measure it by fame. I'll build it piece by faithful piece without a borrowed name. If progress comes in subtle waves, I'll meet it without fear. Each small advance enough to prove the calling still sincere. I am not who I was then, but neither is she gone. She lives within my present step, steady and drawn. The dream I folded years ago was never meant to fade. It waited for a fuller heart and hands like sun unafraid. So I begin without a rush, without dramatic claim. Just breath and focus, warm and clear, rewriting its name. Not chasing what I used to be, nor racing toward acclaim, but honoring the steady truth that called me just the same. The dream I folded away has never left my sight. It rises now in quiet strength, with nothing left to hide.
Boarding pass folded in my hand, coffee going lukewarm slow. Announcements in a distant tone, soft echoes through the glow. Runway lights like scattered stars across the waiting glass. Engines humming somewhere far as heavy shadows pass. Most of the seats are half asleep, heads leaning to the side. Backpacks tucked like quiet guards of what we keep inside. Screens flicker in the dim blue light, charging cables snake. Everyone's suspended between moving. Gate 27 before dawn, nothing yet begun. No wheels lifted from the ground, no rising with the sun. Just breath inside, a holding space where time feels stretched and wide. Anticipation resting without a need to hide. The piano moves in open chords, space like empty air. Brushes sweep a subtle beat, almost unaware. The bass line hums beneath it, low and calm and deep, like reassurance traveling through layers of lost sleep. I watch the runway blinking in measured patient lines, thinking of the different roads that shaped these older times. Trips that felt like running, trips that felt like proof, trips that tried to fix a thing that only needed truth. But this one feels much simpler, no drama in the frame, just curiosity unfolding without a need for name. Not feeling something broken, not chasing something right, just stepping into movement at the edge of night. Gate 27 before dawn feels steady, not extreme, like the quiet page between two chapters of a dream. There's power in the way, in not yet taking flight, in knowing change can gather gently in the stares out at the wind, chasing fog on window glass. An absent-minded ring. A woman scrolls through photos of someone back at home. Lives about to separate, yet never fully gone. I close my eyes a moment, let the hum surround, feel the ground beneath my feet, still solid on the ground. Movement hasn't started, but something in me has a widening horizon beyond what came to pass. Gate 27 before dawn, soon they'll call my roll. The line will form in quiet and we'll stand up slow. But right now in the utmost, before the sky turns pale, I'm grateful for this stillness, for the engines say, take a breath, you're on your way. Speaker cracks and clears its throat, a following call. I rise without reluctance, not braced against a fall, because departure isn't loss and arrival isn't proof. It's simply forward motion, aligned with deeper truth.
The key turns slow inside the lock, a sound both small and new. The door swung wide to empty walls and light I never knew. Boxes line the wooden floor, marked in careful pen. Fragments of a former life waiting to begin again. The air had no familiar scent, no memory in the pain. Just space untouched by history, unwritten and untamed. I stepped across the hollow room, footsteps clear and bright, every echo answering back in a warm afternoon light. There's something brave in empty rooms, in walls that haven't heard your laughter or your late night thoughts, or every careful word I said. My coat along the chair, unfolded simple plans, not grand designs of who I'll be, just daily patient spans. The windows faced a different street, trees bending near the glass, cars moving at a softer pace, letting moments pass. I used to think a house was built from walls already warm, from patterns learned in furniture shaped into familiar form. But standing here with nothing placed, no pictures on the wall, I feel a quiet confidence that I can shape it all. The kitchen counter, cool and bare, waits for cups and plates, for morning light and evening talks, for open, easy states. I open boxes one by one, books stacked by the floor, each spine a thread of who I've been, crossing every door. This isn't just relocation or a postal change, it's choosing where my voice will live in rhythm and in range. I place a lamp beside the couch, test the gentle glow, it settles in without demand, soft and low. The floorboards creak beneath my step, like learning how I move, adapting to my presence here, finding steady groove. I hang a coat by the narrow door, slide